Bonjour à tous, bonjour à toutes, ici Gabriel pour Destination New York Rencontre. Dans ce troisième épisode, on parle à LaParis Phillips, une propriétaire d'une boutique de fleurs de Brooklyn. On va parler avec elle de son parcours qui l'a amené à New York, de son parcours d'entrepreneur également qui l'a amené à avoir sa boutique de fleurs dans Brooklyn. On va parler également de la COVID-19 et du mouvement Black Lives Matter. C'est l'épisode dans lequel il y a eu le plus de montage parce qu'on a eu différents problèmes de connexion. La connexion n'était pas super bonne, mais quand même la discussion, l'essentiel de la discussion est sur la vidéo, sur l'audio. Alors j'espère que vous allez apprécier la discussion et j'espère beaucoup vous retrouver pour un prochain épisode de Destination New York Rencontre. Hi, LaParis. Thank you a lot for doing this and accepting the invitation to chat with me today.
Mhm.
So we're going to talk a bit about yourself and about your business. To start about you, a bit of a background. Can you tell us where were you born? If you were born in New York, and what your background history before coming to New York, if you're not originally from New York?
I am not originally from New York. I am actually from St. Louis, Missouri. That's where I grew up. My family is from there. I've been there. I was there until I went off to college. This is where I kind of got introduced to like nature and art, where I grew up in St. Louis.
In St. Louis, all right. And you've been in New York for for how long now?
I've been in New York for a decade. I just celebrated 10 years.
Okay, nice. What what made you move to New York 10 years ago? What pushed you to go to move a bit further west, further east, actually, in the city, in the country?
Well, what made me, St. Louis is a small city, a big town, small city, I like to say.
Okay.
However, New York was it was a dream of mine. I always wanted to live in New York because my aspirations originally were to be in the fashion industry. So, New York is,
Is the
New
place
York
to
City
be.
is one of the fashion capitals of the world.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so you wanted to pursue a career in fashion industry. Were you modeling or were you more designing stuff?
So I wanted to do like visual merchandising. I went to school for fashion business, and so been more on the business, the visual,
Okay.
creative side, not designing, but putting together looks and everything for the stores.
Okay, and you did your studies in St. Louis or once you came in New York to?
I did my studies in Missouri, and not in St. Louis specifically, but
Okay.
a small college town called Columbia, Missouri. It's right in between Kansas City and St. Louis, like a halfway point. So I went to a women's liberal arts college there. So this is where I learned how to do floral design.
Cool, that's interesting. And once you get in New York, did you a little bit go in that field, or actually try to go in that field at the beginning, or it was fast that you moved away from the fashion industry, or actually are you still doing it a bit of the fashion?
Well, yes, that was my main goal. That was the initial goal, to get into the fashion industry. But I did flowers on the side because my goal was not to go back to St. Louis. So I needed a second hustle. Because in New York, you can't be a one-trick pony. So you have to know how to do several different things. So to have different skills, especially a technical skill that you can work with your hands, it's always something you can find. There's tons of flower shops in New York, so it's very easy for me to find a gig. Initially, fashion was what I want. This is what I came here to do, but that wasn't in my destiny. The cards were different. So the flowers was, that's really what I found out is what I really was here for.
Cool. And was there a specific reason why you went into flowers right off the bat once you get there as your second as your second?
Well, when in college, I knew I had to get a job, but I never wanted to do like work in a restaurant or a coffee shop or anything like that. And then my teacher, her mom had a flower shop, and my family had a balloon/flower shop, and I worked in event design when I was in high school. So I was really interested in developing my floral skills. So this was the perfect opportunity for me to do that. So that's what really, took me to choose that flowers. And then New York, it's like flowers, they're everywhere. So I will be bound to find, like I said before, there's tons of flower shops everywhere. I'll be bound to find, something, at least one job when I found several. So especially going to New York, I moved to New York when I was 21. So, being a young person, I have 4 years of floral experience. I worked all 4 years in college at a flower shop, and I gained a lot of skills there. I was there for so long. I would start training the new people that would come on. So I was pretty well, versed. But I also knew I wanted to learn the New York way of design and how New York do flowers. So that's another thing I was excited for coming to New York, fashion, and see how New York do flowers.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. And what's the most different thing of how New York do flowers compared to where you were in Missouri before?
The style is just more. I feel like in Missouri we were trying to be what New York was doing, but they do like a really compact. When I came, it was like very compact, not very wild, just kind of classic. I don't think I didn't find it too different. It was more the customer service and like the volume and like the business side and the people that you're working with. But throughout, each shop obviously has their own little nuances when it comes to style. However, that allowed me to develop my own style by working at all these different shops, and it allowed me to learn so many different styles. So you can ask me to do any style of floral design, and I know how to do it because I worked in so many different shops.
So that helps a lot.
Yeah.
You're very, you can do about anything that customers ask. So
yes,
that's good for you.
Yeah.
When you moved in New York, did you know anybody in the city, or you moved by yourself? And
I did move by myself, but I had a few classmates who I graduated with. They also moved up here. And I had a family friend, but no real I knew those people, but for the most part, I was on my own.
And how did your family react to your move? Because it's not like the city next door. It's quite it's
far. Yeah,
it's quite far.
Yes, thousands of miles away.
And you were young, so how your family reacted?
I mean, I was gonna move anyway, so I really wasn't concerned about if they wanted me to or not, because my grandparents, they wanted me to stay in Missouri for college, because I wanted to come to New York for college, for facts, to go to FIT. And I got accepted and everything, but they was like, no, because the previous people before me didn't do such a great job in college, so they thought I was going to do the same thing. I'm like, no, I'm not them. But I respected their wishes and I stayed. But after that, I was like, okay, after I'm 18, after I'm 20 and I graduate, I'm doing what I want to do, whether you like it or not. But they encouraged me, they let me fly away.
Well, that's nice. That's a good reaction, I guess.
Yeah, my mom is very encouraging, and she always say, follow your dreams, whatever you want to do, I support you.
Yeah, as long as you're happy with your life and what you're doing in it.
Exactly.
What was there a big adaptation for you coming from this? You said small city, big town, St. Louis, and in New York. What was the biggest thing you did to adapt?
It was an adaptation, but not really, because even throughout my college career, I stayed in Chicago, I interned in Chicago, I interned in London. I traveled a lot. Even as a teen, I traveled to Europe. So I was able to see how these metropolitan cities work with the trains. In Chicago, I interned there for the summer, so I already knew how a train system worked. And I wasn't scared of a city. It wasn't an adjustment. It was more like I just looked at it as an adventure. The adjustments were really the job markets and just trying to find a place to stay. It's really hard in New York to, try to find a place. They want everything from you just to get a place to stay, like credit score, they want everything. So That
Plus
would be
the
the
rent is
adjustment. Just becoming an adult would be
okay.
the adjustment. Doing things on my own.
Yeah, it's at the same time you became an adult and you moved to New York. So a lot of
Yeah,
changes in your life at the same time. And
yeah.
is there something you felt like home a bit in New York? Is there something you feel like it's the most St. Louis um, thing in the city in New York?
No, I can't find any comparisons
Okay.
to St. Louis to New York. More specifically, Brooklyn. I consider Brooklyn my home.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived in every borough except for Staten Island. When I first moved here, I started in Queens. Then I went from Queens, I went to the Bronx. I stayed on the couch a few weeks for a month and a half or so. Then I went to Washington Heights, which is Upper Manhattan, above Harlem.
Yep.
And then I moved to Harlem, which is also in Manhattan. And then I finally got to Brooklyn. And I've been in Brooklyn ever since. So Brooklyn, I guess in that way of community, I feel like St. Louis.
Yeah,
I
it's
will
here.
say
Okay.
that. Yeah, because I've been able to cultivate my own community, like as if I was at home. You know, I have friends and I have people I can call. I have my hairstylist. I just went over to her house to do my hair. You know, so these are people that I consider my friends. So in that aspect of community, that I would have to compare that to St. Louis. But other than that, it's totally different, which is why I love Brooklyn and New York so much.
Yeah. So yeah, you tried all the boroughs. That's so you can find the right place for you.
Yeah, Brooklyn has always been the place I was trying to get to.
And what was not the worst, but the least good place for you in the boroughs you tried? Is there one place that
I like to say the Bronx.
yeah?
Yeah, the Bronx. No, you know what? I take that back.
And were you up in the Bronx, or were you still like
No, I was up in the Bronx. So yeah, I was almost at the top. Yeah, I
okay.
was as far as commute, I would say the Bronx would be the worst.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as where I was located,
Yeah.
that would be the worst. It was pretty far.
All right, and it's cool. It's interesting that I never spoke to anybody that lived in Staten Island. Most of because I'm
I
also I don't.
haven't.
Oh, you haven't? Okay, except Staten Island.
Everywhere but Staten Island.
Okay.
No, I would never. I could
No.
never. I would not torture myself like that. Gosh, no.
No, you find it what boring
There's
or
nothing there. Like it's absolutely nothing there, and it's like so far from everything. It's
yeah.
like I don't even understand why it exists, honestly.
Yeah, it's
But,
kind of a city on its own. It's kind of a little town.
Yeah, it's like it's literally an island. Like they're it's different. It's different there.
Yeah.
I've probably been on stepped foot on the island one time.
And then you can check it on your checklist.
Yeah.
I had a few questions also for your shop. So you've been in New York for 10 years. When did you start Brooklyn Blooms?
I started Brooklyn Blooms in the summer of 2015.
Okay.
And that was just by starting getting the Instagram page and getting a domain, and just trying to hustle from there.
And the that's in Bedford Stuyvesant neighbor.
That's a Stuyvesant.
Stuyvesant, thanks. And what do you like the most about that neighborhood? And did you choose that place specifically, or it just fell in places to?
Yeah, well, I lived in Bed-Stuy long before I started a business. Long before I even thought I would have a business. And actually, where my shop is, I used to live around the corner. Before it was my shop all the time. So that place, that shop where I am now, it's kind of chose me. So yeah, that's how I ended up in Bed-Stuy as far as the shop, because I already lived in Bed-Stuy.
Okay. And is that
so I actually live in. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, so you said earlier that you like a lot the community over there. Is that what you like the most in that neighborhood?
It's very strong community in my neighborhood. Like the business, especially because I'm a business owner. I make sure I and I fellowship with everybody, all the other business owners, and we're connected. Live here. A lot of people who are my peers and who are doing things and making moves, they also live in Bed-Stuy. And a lot of, it's becoming a very popular neighborhood to live in. So it's really good for my business because so many people are moving here. People from around the world are moving here. So I get orders from people from, France or whatever to send flowers because they have, so Bed-Stuy is it's a kind of a metropolitan. It's a great example of what New York is in a neighborhood, if that makes sense.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it makes sense. I've never been that far in Brooklyn. The farthest I have been, I think it's Prospect Park. Or
okay, we're not far from Prospect Park.
Yeah, I saw that on the map, except from the beach at Coney Island. But
it's far. It's on the other side.
yeah, but in the borough, that's Prospect Park, I guess. But I'll stick. I'll say hello when I am back in, when I can come back in the city.
Yes, you have to.
I was wondering, are there any more local flowers you can find in New York? I don't know that much about flowers. As I told you a bit earlier, my family have been in the industry for decades. But are there any local flowers that we could find in New York? Not necessarily from New York, but from close to the northern east?
So there are at the wholesaler. This year has been a bit more difficult because of COVID. But especially during the spring and summer, and in the winter too, they'll get local. They get things from around the world, but when they can, they do have local farmers that we get things from, like sunflowers come from Jersey, sunflowers, blueberry, mountain laurel, all those like blooming branches, cherry blossom, dogwood, and I have a little flower a plot where I'm growing flowers. So I'm also trying to learn how to cultivate as well as design. So I'm growing a few things. Some zinnias, celosia is also a local thing. Zinnia is a local thing.
So there's choices for local flowers.
Yeah,
that's good. So are there any exotic? What is the most exotic flowers that you can have in normal times? And now during COVID, I guess it's a bit different, a bit difficult to get exotic flowers. But are there very exotic?
Yeah, we're getting some stuff from we get stuff from Holland, and we get a lot of flowers from like Africa, like Kenya. Flowers come from there. And we get a lot of the flowers, roses are come from South America. So, we still get those. But actually, this past week, there was a shortage on roses. So, so I don't, we just got to kind of like, play it by ear. But we get some still exotic things. We're starting to, there's a wholesaler called Caribbean Cuts, and they get all the tropical flowers. Okay. So they're getting starting to get slowly but surely some tropical things like birds of paradise. I've seen some orchids still. So we're getting some tropical things too.
Cool. And do you have like weird requests at your place? I've heard a story just to get an example of what I'm thinking about weird requests. I don't know if that's weird, but when I heard that, I thought it was a bit unique. But I heard some flower shop that got an order from a man for 12 roses, but with all the tongues on the
the thorns.
Yeah, the thorn, like the song with all the thorns on them. And so it was supposedly to send it to his ex-wife or something like that type of story.
No, I've never got any.
You don't get that.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
But I've heard stories of these type of requests.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I heard somebody like want to send like a dead arrangement to an ex. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. I don't have dead flowers.
Exactly. And where does your provider is from where is your provider from? Is it from New York?
Yeah, there's a flower market in the city on 28th Street. That's a whole floral district. Um, but now they're not as active. There a few of them are open. But at first, when they weren't open, we had to order like through an app. We still can, and they'll come. You know, we can pick it up from there. But
Okay.
yeah, they're local. They actually it's two of them in Queens, and it's the other ones are in the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Now that we've been in this COVID situation for 3.5 months, what was the most challenging thing during that time? Now you've been, are you reopened actually now?
I've been open since May 1st.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
For pickup?
Deliveries.
Okay.
To begin with, a lot of people don't come in my store. I don't have a high traffic store to begin with.
Okay.
Maybe one or two people might come to the store every so often, but usually I don't have a high traffic store. People come in, but it's not high traffic. So even with the social distancing thing, like it wasn't like a big issue for me. And they don't really touch anything when they come into the store, and we don't touch each other. You know, it's not a lot of exchanges going on in the store. So that's been good for me. But as far as like volume and things, the business has been busy. I've been busy since I've opened. May 1st, I've been busy because the May 10th was Mother's Day. So those 10 days we were prepping for Mother's Day. And then after that, people have just been ordering flowers for different occasions, for, you know, birthdays, graduations. People are sending flowers more now because people are at home, and you know, people are sending just because, and lovers are sending each other flowers, and friends are just saying thank you. So people are showing more gratitude towards each other and saying it with flowers, which is great for me. So, and then on the other hand, like a lot of my weddings are canceled. But this past week, I've had all weddings because people are doing the virtual weddings. So they're doing, or they'll hire an officiant to come. They have a small gathering. So they're doing it I had one on the rooftop. I had one in the backyard, and I had one, it was in their living room. So people are just using their spaces, or they go to restaurants. People have gone in parks. So people are finding different ways to still get married, and they need flowers for those things. So that's another way that, you know, COVID has affected my business, but not stopped my business.
That's great. But you were stopped. You were still stopped between mid-March and up until May 1st.
Yeah. So from March 30th to April 31st, I guess 30th, I was closed, and I took the month off. I went back to St. Louis. I visited my family. I closed the shop. It was actually a great vacation, a much needed vacation, because I had been saying that I needed a vacation before this happened, and I was granted one. So
and now, boom,
And now I'm busy again. I need another month-long vacation.
You have a few employees that help you. You say this is your day off. I guess you have.
I have a team. I have a small team. This is my first year of like having a little team like this, because the business is growing. So I have 3 part-time designers, and I have a delivery guy.
Okay, before you were all by yourself.
Yeah, for the first 2.5 years, I've been by myself. I've hired freelancers when needed, but for the most part, like daily in the shop, it was really just me. And I was like doing everything, cleaning, deliveries. Like I was the whole shop in one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congrats on doing all those things by yourself, and still managing the shop and staying open for now 5 years, and all those years before by yourself.
Actually, so I started the shop in 2017. I started Brooklyn Blooms in 2015. I was working out of my apartment for 2 years.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then I got asked to open up a shop somewhere else, and that deal had fell through. And the shop that I'm in now is the one that is around the corner from my old apartment. And this shop I'm in now, it used to be a flower shop like 12 years ago. And it had its old awning, that said Earthly Horizons. That was the name of the shop. And I would always pass by the shop and think to myself, oh, that would be so cute if it was a flower shop again. Not knowing nothing, I had nothing to do with it. Wasn't thinking that at all. I was like, oh, it'd be so nice. But it was a flower shop in the neighborhood, but it was like, it's okay. I'm like, well, this would be cute if this one was a flower shop again too. And then later on, I found out that I was going to be that person opening that shop again. So that's why I say that place it chose me. I definitely manifested it. Because I would always look by it, go, like, just look past it and like oh, it would be so nice. And yeah, so I started Brooklyn Blues in 2015, but I got a brick and mortar in 2017.
So you started at your apartment. You received flowers at your apartment and sent flowers to go out.
Well, no, I only did events at that time when I was going out of my apartment. I only did events. Cool. Once I opened the shop, I was able to do like daily orders and things. So now I'm a full service. I do everything now that I have the shop. And actually, that shop, I'm actually growing out of that shop. I need more space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you say you're moving out of that shop?
I don't want to move out. Okay. There's a garage attached to my building, and I need to speak to my landlady again to like
expand.
It's like, hey, I need that garage. Because it's the perfect extension to my shop. I would hate to move. My location is so perfect, and I'm kind of a staple there. Like I should be, and it would behoove her to do that. Mm-hmm. She'd be doing a disservice to herself if she didn't extend that garage to me. Obviously, I would pay more, but I don't want to move, but no. I'm feeling a little cramps in there sometimes.
Well, but I can understand that you want to stay there. Your shop is there, and you want also the people to know that you're there, and
they're used to me being there.
What will being a business owner in New York? What do you find it the most rewarding and the most challenging, if anything?
Still breaking
about
up.
Damn.
What was the word?
Rewarding.
Rewarding. Okay, so I thought she was trying to say the most rewarding. So the most rewarding, me honestly, for me to be a Black woman, and to have a business in Brooklyn, and just to have a business as a Black florist, because and people accept it, and people celebrate Brooklyn Blooms. People love the designs. So I think that's my favorite thing. Like, people loving my work, and it being in New York. New York is such a on the forefront type of place, and to be seen and to be your work to be respected here, it's really rewarding. Because like they say if you make it in New York, you make it anywhere. So it's really cool, and it's really a blessing to be here and to have a flower shop that's doing well, and people are always like, wow, wanting to come and get something from Brooklyn Blooms because they love our designs and they love the flowers that we choose and our aesthetic. So that's really cool that I was able to build something like that, a place for people to come and like get beautiful things made for them. And I would have to say the most challenging thing about having a business in New York is just you're always on the grind. It's always, it's always a hustle. And because I'm becoming so popular and I'm growing, the demand is much greater. So with any entrepreneur, you have a great demand on yourself with work and personal life and business life. Taxes, I hate taxes. Love it if I could, but I can't. Yeah. So that would be one of the challenging things. It's like those back end things, and just keeping up with the hustle of it all. Myself is getting more popular, so people want to work with you more. So it's a great thing. I'm not complaining, but I'm also it can be taxing sometimes. Yeah.
It takes a lot of energy.
It does. It does.
There's something you said about being a Black woman in New York, and I guess in anywhere in the States or anywhere in the world, it can be challenging for many reasons. Now, for the past month, with the support of the movement Black Lives Matter, did you feel a change in the way that people talk to you, people approach you? Or since you're in a community that still is strong and there's a lot of variety, I guess, in the neighborhood, is it quite the same? Or did you feel a change over the last month of how people approach you?
I definitely felt a change with like even my Instagram. Like once the whole thing started, this is how I got to 10K followers, because people were featuring Black artists, Black florists, Black wedding vendors. So I was on several lists and several like big time like brides, my steward list. Honestly, I feel like I should have been on those lists. I should just be on there as a great florist, not as a Black florist. I should be on there as one of the best florists in New York.
Yeah, totally.
Because that's what comes first. But you know, it is what it is. But yeah, that and people wanted to support Black business. So you know, again, I'm the only florist, like proper florist in Bed-Stuy. So we got an influx of orders. Like I've been busy ever since, like I would say 2 weeks ago. I've been busy already, but this really, and now people are like, oh wow, there's a florist in Bed-Stuy, and I like their flowers. So people are always, you know, calling us to do the orders. So yeah, that has definitely affected the business in a positive way.
Well, that's very nice. If that very negative situation can bring positive to people and to be more respectful and more helpful and
just supportive of other businesses and like seeking out different from what you're used to. Yeah. So I'll have to say all of my friends who are business owners have seen a spike in their business. They're all super busy and we're all super tired. But yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, and that here in Montreal, that started with COVID a little bit. People starting more to encourage local businesses, local shops, and now with this movement for Black Lives Matter, I guess for people, for Black people, it gives another boost, another help to you as well. That's very nice. That can bring something positive from that bad situation, because it's not.
And I just hope that it continues, and I hope people who are not, you know, of African descent, just take the time to seek out products that's not, you know, not because it's Black, because it's good, you know. Because it's the packaging is great and the product is great and the customer service is great. It just happened to be a Black person selling it, you know? So, but our community do need that support from everywhere. It's just not Black community supporting Black community. It's everybody. We want our products to reach the world just like everybody else's products.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree with you on that. Now that New York is moving towards a new phase next week of reopening the city after the lockdown since mid-March, is there something you look forward to when it's going to be back to more normal life?
In business or in my life?
Both.
In business, I'm looking forward to doing events again and like, you know, weddings. Even though I've been doing weddings, but you know, I do love doing weddings. I am a sucker for love, so I love to see people, you know, celebrating it and making it official through marriage. And I just love creating beauty for those type of things. And for events are fun. You know, they are. It's always something different, something funky that I get to do. And then my life, I mean, I don't really have one to begin with. So I don't do much at all, but you know, it'll be nice to go on a date, be able to go to a restaurant and do so. I'm actually going on one later with a friend. So, but we have to sit outside, which I'm okay with. I love outside sitting. So we're gonna have dinner outside. So we're, they're slowly opening things up, and we just find, and people have been like picnicking, in the park. So they'll get their takeout if they can't sit at the restaurant, and let's go to the park and eat, which is beautiful. So yeah, I'm excited for the city to to open up, and I miss going out to like restaurants and like roof like parties, hanging out.
You're ready for it.
Yeah, especially it's summer too, so you can't let it pass us by.
Oh, that I agree also.
Yeah.
And if people wanted to find you, what is the best way to see your flower art or to get to know the Brooklyn Blooms? Is it Instagram or is it a webpage?
Yep, Instagram, Brooklyn Blooms, NYC. You can also check out the website, brooklynblooms.com. And if you want to order, actually it's brooklynblooms.com if you want to order. And then Brooklyn Blooms Floral for my website if you want to see some wedding work. And then, my IG, Brooklyn Blooms, NYC.
All right. Yeah, I'll definitely put it in the video and in the description as well. So people can order flowers from anywhere in the world on your website.
Anywhere in the world. They got somebody in Brooklyn they want to send flowers to. We can make it beautiful for them and we'll send it out.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll let you go now, LaParis. I think I've covered all the discussion I wanted to cover for now. Did you have anything that you wanted to talk about?
No, I don't think so.
That's fine.
You asked the questions.
Yeah, thanks. So I'll let you go now. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for asking me.
Yeah, no problem. I think I found you actually on a post. You said that was supporting Black owner business and stuff like that. I think it's one I saw you was in a story or something like that. Okay. And very interesting discussion. And I really hope, really looking forward for me to go and salute you in person. As soon as I can go back to the city.
I know, right?
I'll be there.
They're not letting anybody come back to the United States, right? They're not like, United States, the world don't want the United States.
No, not for now. We'll hear even
no, y'all stay over there. Do not come to Europe, do not come to Canada, don't come nowhere.
No, not for now. But maybe later this year or next year, hopefully, it's going to be all behind us.
Because I would love to visit Canada. I've never been.
You've never been?
And I have friends in Toronto, and I really want to visit. So.
Yeah, it's a great city. I've been to Toronto a few times. Obviously, I live here in Montreal. It's great as well. Very cold in the winter. If you can choose, come in the summer. That's I'm not a winter person. So. But Toronto and Montreal are very nice cities. Okay. I recommend it.
Awesome.